I want to take a few moments now to talk about the ongoing tension between India and Pakistan after 26 tourists were killed in a terror attack in India-controlled Kashmir in April. For decades, Kashmir has been a flashpoint of instability, both India and Pakistan claiming the region as their own. The countries agreed to an original ceasefire border, which is known as the Line of Control. In the attack last month, 3 gunmen opened fire at a local beauty spot. India has claimed that it has identified 2 of the attackers as Pakistani nationals, referring to them as terrorists. Pakistan has denied any involvement in the attack, for which a previously unknown group called the Kashmir Resistance had claimed responsibility. Let's discuss this further with the High Commissioner of Pakistan to the United Kingdom, Dr. Mohammad Faisal. Good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your time. Your Defence Minister and your former Foreign Minister have both warned of the potential of all-out war between India and Pakistan. How is that situation now? In the past few days, what is that risk level currently?
Yes, the risk level remains very high because India has openly threatened Pakistan, openly accused Pakistan. This is without any shred of evidence. Pakistan, at the highest level, even at the level of Prime Minister, has offered to join an independent investigation into the attack. If there is any involvement of anyone, Pakistan is ready to cooperate. But the Indians don't want an investigation, and now at the moment it is allegations without any evidence, without any proof. And they openly talk of attacking Pakistan. The problem, as you are well aware and you mentioned in your intro, also remains the Jammu and Kashmir dispute. Pakistan's position is what UN Security Council has instructed, directed it since 1949. Ask the people of Jammu and Kashmir if they want to be with Pakistan or with India. It's a plebiscite or a referendum. And Pakistan says that whatever the Kashmiri people want, we will stand with them. India does not want to honor its commitments made to the UN Security Council.
You said that India has made these claims from your perspective without providing any evidence to back them up. You say that you're prepared to join an independent investigation into this. Is Pakistan able to offer any evidence of its own at this point to kind of counter claims put forward by India, or to back up the claims by your defence minister that India may have staged this in the first place?
You see, it is not for us to provide an evidence. The allegations are made by the Indians, and we are ready. There are 3 or 4 names, you must have seen them on Indian media, claiming to be of Pakistan, that they were Pakistanis. The Indian allegation means that they passed across the LOC, which is heavily guarded. Then they traveled some 230 kilometers on foot with weapons in a heavily militarized Indian-controlled zone. They carried out the attack. Then they went back 230 kilometers and crossed back into Pakistan. So if there are any names, we are ready to investigate those names if India shares it with us. There are national identity cards for every Pakistani, 250 million. There's a computerized system. There are residential addresses, anything, just by naming somebody and claiming that he's a Pakistani won't mean anything. If you have some details, some cell number, some identity card, that is how an investigation proceeds. So we are open for collaboration. However, if we are threatened or if we are attacked, an appropriate reply would immediately be given.
You say, and it's, I think, understandable, that it's not Pakistan's role to provide evidence against India's claims, but with respect, if your foreign minister, if your defence minister, suggests claims of a staged attack or even a false flag, then it is in Pakistan's interest and in international interest to provide evidence to back up the claims that are being made by your government in response to this. Is there anything that you can provide openly that might underpin what the Defence Minister said a few days ago?
Of course, if an independent investigation is carried out, it will come out in the open. The Defence Minister, the Interior Minister, yes, you're right, they have said it, because there's a history of Indians staging such attacks before elections or for political gains, which has come out in the open in the last 20 or 30 years repeatedly. So this is not the first time that we are saying it. This has happened repeatedly for domestic political gains. The Indians have staged such attacks. So we want an investigation. If we are found incorrect, fine, let's go into it. It is the Indians who are shirking from an open investigation. We want that. We want the international community to have a look at it, what exactly happened, and we want a resolution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute. Because if you don't resolve the underlying dispute and wait for such an event or incident or something to bring it up to the international community's notice, this is not a good way to go about it. We have been saying for about 70 plus years that this is a dispute which is a flashpoint, a nuclear flashpoint. It needs resolution. Please help us resolving it, and we want to resolve it. So there are 2 points to it. The attack, of course, is condemnable and, of course, needs to be investigated. But the underlying dispute, what to do about that, that is very important.
We'll just get on to kind of the international community in a moment, because the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been speaking to high-level delegations at both sides. I just want to pick up on your comment previously, a comment that's been made by many in the Pakistani government, that if India was to launch a strike or some kind of attack in some form, Pakistan would retaliate. I just want to get confirmation from you one way or another whether Pakistan will be prepared to act first in its own defence, or will it only act in a secondary situation in response to an Indian strike?
No, Pakistan does not plan to, and Pakistan has announced it clearly. We do not want to initiate anything. We want peace, and Pakistan has remained a contender for peace in the region and beyond. However, if we are attacked, and the UN Charter gives us that power, we will definitely retaliate, but it will be an appropriate response, not an excessive response. Whatever the attack is, a response would be given.
You mentioned there about the international community. Like I said, Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, has been speaking. How welcome is the involvement of the United States?
We welcome everyone. We welcome the British government, we welcome our friends. Many countries have called our foreign minister, the Indian foreign minister, and of course, the Americans as the preeminent power in the world. It's a welcome development that the Secretary of State has spoken to Pakistan leadership, to Indian leadership. It is a good thing that the international community helps to mediate, helps in de-escalation, and then helps in both India and Pakistan reaching a solution to the problem, because it's worsening in Indian occupied Kashmir. There more than 3,000 people have been arrested, their own TV is saying, and there's a repression going on against the Muslims in Kashmiris, and the Kashmiris are in a very difficult situation because of there's no state process or investigation or court process, and this is in Indian media and they're doing it. So of course we are concerned in what's going on in Indian occupied Kashmir.
Just very briefly, High Commissioner, just closer to home, reports of protests outside the Pakistan High Commission here in London, reports of police having to be involved as well. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, on Friday evening, there was this protest. Indian protesters had gathered, and then some Pakistani protesters also gathered. The tempers were flaring. We got a lot of abuse from our Indian friends who were in front of the High Commission, and the police were very helpful. They arrested a couple of people. There was an altercation actually between the police and the Indian protesters because they were kind of abusing the police people. And then sadly on Sunday morning around 5 a.m. there was this chap, his name is Ankit Love. We are not told so far whether he's Indian or British, I don't know. But he was arrested. He had these big white stones in his hand, and actually he had a, I think, bag, and then he threw them at the windows. He broke 2 or 3 window panes of the High Commission. We were lucky that nobody was inside, otherwise the security guard sometimes is sleeping there. So we just had damage to the property, damage to the glass, damage to the table, chair, everything. The guy was arrested. He's in the police custody. We are quite concerned since then because the police were very effective, because the security guard called the police, they were there, they immediately arrested him. But tempers are high here. I appeal to my people, of course, who have not done anything. They have remained peaceful. I want them to remain peaceful, because whatever happens between India and Pakistan, the right to peaceful protest is important all over the world, even in London, elsewhere, but no violence. Pakistan has never stood for violence. We don't want any violence, and my appeal is always there for my people to remain peaceful. Of course, they have every right of free speech and peaceful protest.
High Commissioner of Pakistan to the United Kingdom, Dr. Mohammad Faisal, really appreciate you sharing your time with us here on Sky News.